Ever sit down and actually add up everything you owe? The mortgage, the car payment, the credit cards, maybe a student loan still hanging around. Most people don't, and that's exactly where the trouble starts. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. So here's something I want you to think about today. Not all debt is the same. And the way most people handle their debt, it's costing them a fortune. They don't even realize it. Let me break this down. There are really two big categories of debt. You've got secured debt and you've got unsecured debt. Secured debt means there's an asset backing the loan, your mortgage. That's secured by your home. Your car loan, secured by the car. If you stop paying, the lender can take the asset back. Pretty simple. Unsecured debt is the other side. Credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, student loans. There's no collateral behind those. But don't think that means there are no consequences. Miss enough payments on a credit card, and you'll hear from a collections agency. They can even garnish your wages. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You've probably heard people say things like good debt and bad debt. And I understand why people use those terms. A mortgage can help you build wealth over time. A student loan can lead to a better career. Those feel like good reasons to borrow money. But here's what I want you to understand. It's not about whether the debt is good or bad. It's about whether you have a strategy for managing it. Because even so-called good debt can become a problem if you're not looking at the full picture. And what is that full picture? It's your household blended interest rate. That's the weighted average of every single interest rate across every debt you carry. Your mortgage at 6%, your car loan at 7%, your credit cards at 22%. When you blend all of that together, you get one number that tells you the real cost of your total debt. Most people have never calculated this. They're focused on one debt at a time. They hear that credit card rates are high, so they throw extra money at the credit card. Or they hear they should pay off the mortgage early, so they send extra principal payments to the bank every month. But they're not looking at the whole picture, and that's where the mistakes happen. Let me give you an example, and I'm going to use numbers that are realistic right here in Southern California. Let's call her Maria. Maria owns a home worth about $1 million with a mortgage balance around $700,000 at 6.25%. She's got a car loan, about $35,000 at 8%. She's carrying $25,000 in credit card debt across two cards, one at 19% and one at 24%. Personal loan of $10,000, 12%. And here's one most people don't think about. She's got $8,000 in medical bills she's been paying off on a monthly plan. Now that medical debt, the interest rate is zero. The hospital isn't even charging her a dime in interest. Most people would say, leave that one alone. Focus on the credit cards. And I get why they'd say that. But stick with me because this is where strategy starts to separate itself from the usual advice. Maria is doing what most people do, making all their minimum payments, throwing an extra few hundred a month at her credit cards because she read online that you should attack the highest rate first. That's not bad advice on the surface, but it's a tactic, not a strategy. And tactics without a strategy cost you money. When we sat down and calculated Maria's household blended interest rate across all of her debts, the number told the real story. It wasn't the 6.25% on her mortgage that she felt okay about. It wasn't the 24% on her credit card that scared her. It was the blended number across everything that actually matters. And more important than that blended rate was what all those separate payments were doing to her monthly cash flow. Here's what Maria was paying out every single month. Her mortgage payment, her car payment, minimum payments on two credit cards, a personal loan payment, and that medical bill, $400 a month on a payment plan. Add it all up, and Maria had over $1,350 a month going out the door just on the non-mortgage consumer debt. $1,350 every month. That's not counting her mortgage or her car. Meanwhile, she's sitting on roughly $300,000 in home equity. $300,000 sitting in the walls of her house, not earning anything, not doing anything for her. This is where the quick and easy home equity loan comes in. We talked about this on a recent show, and it fits perfectly here. This loan takes about 20 minutes of your time, and it can be funded in 7 to 10 days. It focuses on the equity you've already built, and the rate is based on a small margin over the prime lending rate, which for most people is going to come in well below what they're paying on credit cards, personal loans, and other consumer debt. So Maria takes out a home equity loan and uses it to consolidate the credit cards, personal loan, and yes, medical bills. That's $43,000 in separate debts rolled into one payment. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Ron, why would you take 0% medical debt and put it into a loan that has any interest at all? That doesn't make sense. And if all you're looking at is the interest rate, you're right, it doesn't. But you're not just looking at rate. We're looking at cash flow. We're looking at the whole picture. Those separate debts were costing Maria over $1,350 a month in combined payments. The credit card minimums, the personal loan, the medical payment plan, 5 different bills, 5 different due dates, 5 different drains on her checking account every single month. After the consolidation, one payment, about $380 a month. Let that sink in. Maria went from $1,350 a month to $380 a month. That's nearly $1,000 every month, back in her cash flow. Almost $12,000 a year. Maria didn't get a raise. She didn't pick up a side job. She didn't cancel every subscription and stop going out to dinner. She restructured the debt she already had using the equity she'd already built and put nearly $1,000 a month back in her pocket. That's real money. That's an emergency fund that actually gets funded. That's retirement contributions that actually get made. That's the difference between reaching for a credit card when the car breaks down and being able to write a check. That $12,000 a year is what gives a family breathing room. It's what gives you options. Yes, she's paying a small amount of interest on the medical portion now, but she freed up nearly $1,000 a month in cash flow. Her household blended interest rate came down because those credit cards and that personal loan are no longer sitting at 19, 24, and 12%, and she went from juggling 5 separate payments to making one. That's what strategic debt management looks like. You take the assets and the income you already have and put them in a position where you're working for you instead of against you. Now, I want to be clear about this. The quick and easy home equity loan is for homeowners who already have equity in their home. If you're renting, if you're a first-time buyer just getting started, this isn't your move yet. But if you own a home here in Southern California or anywhere in the country, and you're sitting on equity while carrying expensive debt somewhere else, that math doesn't add up. And we should talk about it. Go to rsrlings.com/homewealth. rsrlings.com/homewealth. And here's where I see too often people drain their savings trying to pay things off one at a time. They throw every spare dollar into debt, and then the water heater goes out. And now they've got no cash, no emergency fund, and they're right back on the credit card again. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. That's why I always talk about safety, liquidity, and return in that order. First, make sure you're safe. You've got reserves. You can handle the unexpected. Then make sure your money is liquid. You can get to it when you need it. And then focus on the return, which includes reducing the cost of your debt and freeing up your monthly cash flow. Americans are carrying over $645 billion in revolving credit card debt right now. The average balance for someone carrying credit card debt is nearly $11,000, and the interest rates on those cards can run up into the mid 20% range. That is expensive money. And that medical debt example I just gave you, that's something most people get wrong. Most medical providers don't charge interest. If you owe a hospital, you can usually set up a payment plan at 0%. But what do a lot of people do? They put it on a credit card. Now that 0% medical debt just became 22% credit card debt, and medical debts gets treated differently by the credit bureaus. The moment you convert it to credit card debt, you lose that protection. So if you have medical debt, do not put on a credit card. Talk to the provider. Set up a plan, and if it makes sense as part of a bigger strategy to fold it into an equity loan for cash flow purposes, that's a conversation worth having. So what should you do right now? If you're a homeowner with equity, go to rsrlinks.com/homewealth. That's rsrlinks.com/homewealth. See what that equity can do for you. And for everyone, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. You'll find the steps to get started on building a real plan for your money, not a one-size-fits-all tip from the internet, a plan that looks at your full picture, your debts, your cash flow, your goals, and helps you make decisions that actually move the needle. Because strategy beats rate, every single time. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. rsrlinks.com/debt-free.